Oh.
Can I turn on your radio?
Yes, already.
It's almost showtime.
Who's your favorite talk radio personality?
That's Todd.
He's weird.
Monday through Friday.
He's strange.
5 to 7.
Sloppy.
I mean, he sounds perfect.
He's dreamy.
What do you say? Let's get it going.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call me now, 937-457-1290.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Today, so we're gonna give you just a little bit of praise just for you. Well, you actually got off your couch today. You know we gotta give you praise. Sing that name. Oh, Todd, we praise you.
It is the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. We got the live stream up on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Shout out to our web guru, Jimmy, who was clutch in getting me all the sign-in information for our live stream. I had to clear my cache. You ever had to do that? I had to clear the cache. And I lost all my login information and barely made it. Tonight on the show, I have a question. I don't know if anybody else saw this story. Rumors of a tiger sighting in Cincinnati. Anybody else hear about this? I had a couple of people reach out to me and say that there was a tiger sighted this morning in Cincinnati, and that seems to be the hotbed for wild animal sightings. We've had a couple over the last couple of years. I think we had some sort of cheetah and then a wild monkey. Remember that? A couple of years ago, we had monkeys on the loose in Cincinnati. So I don't know. We're gonna talk about that. Also, this Friday is Pat Sajak's last Wheel of Fortune. It's the last one, and I know a lot of people are going to be sad about this. Mainly because Ryan Seacrest is taking over in September. So we're going to talk a little bit about game shows later on, and also magnet fishing. You ever gone magnet fishing? Those videos, I've never gone. Those videos are amazing to watch. These people, if you don't know what I'm talking about, they go out with it's almost like fishing, but without the fishy smell. Right? You don't get the slime on your fingers. You throw a giant magnet into some sort of body of water, let it hit the ground, and then you just pull up whatever is there. And a couple of people in the last week or so have found some unusual things, and I'm curious to know if there is an active magnet fishing circuit here in Dayton, because I might be interested. But first, I need to talk to my buddy Ron.
Yes, sir.
By the way, did I hear you call me Superload earlier?
No, I was referring to something else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was checking.
It's clear in the air right there.
I thought I heard something. It was like Superload coming up here in a few minutes or something.
Man,
you were calling me a Superload.
Your sensitivity.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit oversensitive.
I have a question. We've been talking about it all day. This crazy, horrific story of a woman downtown in the that high-rise building, Dayton Towers, getting stuck in a trash chute.
Yeah.
Now, do we have any details on how this happened? Because I've had stories like this before on the show. They weren't local, but in some instances, they were throwing trash in there, and maybe something got stuck, and they tried to reach in to dislodge it, or they threw something in there and somehow got sucked in. And we even had one New York City a year or so ago where somebody pushed her down there. Do we know how this happened yet?
Unfortunately, no. We have no idea. They have no idea how she got in there. According to our own Mike Campbell's reporting,
right?
He says that this trash chute only comes down to like a 45-degree angle. It makes it very difficult for someone to just fall in. Nobody really knows how she ended up there, but she went right down the chute, right down to the compactor, down to the basement.
Now, it took them 90 minutes to get her out.
Yeah.
And I guess you're right. She went all the way down into the basement, into, I guess, a giant dumpster. I'm not sure. I know there's a compactor down there.
It's from what I understand, it was close to the compactor where she ended up. And when they went down there, they had to cut her out. Which made her really hard because they're down there cutting steel, throwing sparks around. And of course, there's a lot of combustible material.
Oh, sure.
Inside
It's
there.
trash.
So it took them a good 90 minutes. I guess they sent some specialized medical teams, including a doctor, actually went down there to the scene.
Wow. That is just crazy, crazy, awful. Do we have any idea how long she was down there? Did this happen in the middle of the night, last week? I mean, what do we?
They don't know. They don't know. It was about 10, a little bit before 10 this morning when the cops got the call. So they don't have no idea how long she was in there. But they did hear some workers had heard her yelling down there in the basement, heard her voice, and called the police. So no idea how long she was there to begin with.
That is crazy. I mean, I hope we get some more information. I know she's, at least according to the story I saw, in critical condition.
Yes.
Hopefully she's going to recover from that. But I bet people are going to want to know, how did this happen? I mean, if it's accidental, was it just like no fault of her own? Like could this have happened to anybody else? Or, was she trying to reach something? Or, I mean, I'm sure there's those moments where you throw something away, or you're starting to, I can't throw that away, or I don't know.
Yeah. It seems like the more information we get about it, the more questions we have.
Yeah. I mentioned magnet fishing. Have you ever seen those videos of people magnet fishing? No, but on the same token, I have plenty of magnets at home, so I don't need to go out. No, you're not fishing for magnets.
Oh,
you're not.
Okay.
You're not fishing for magnets. You're using magnets to go fishing for junk.
Oh, I gotcha.
You've not seen these videos? You don't know what I'm talking about?
Scavenging, basically.
Essentially, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. All right. Well, if you don't know anything about it, I guess that's all we got to talk about today.
I have nothing else for you.
Thank you, Ron. So yeah, here's the story, and it's a couple of them, and I'd like to know if we have any magnet fishermen or fisher ladies here in the Dayton area. There was a story I saw about a New York City couple last Friday. They were magnet fishing in a city park in Queens. And it was, I forget the name of it was just some lake there in Queens. But anyway, they were magnet fishing, and they pulled up a safe. Now this is exciting. If you watch videos of magnet fishing, usually it's just junk of some sort. Sometimes a magnet fisherman might pull up a gun, and then there's always this intrigue, like, oh, was this a gun used in a crime, and somebody just threw it into the water? That's always a case. Sometimes they find cars. They've found cars before. That's exciting and interesting, as long as there's not somebody inside. Then it really does become a police matter. But this particular safe that they pulled up, and I would say it was probably a safe, probably like a foot and a half square, something like that. Just a rectangular sort of safe. And they were able to pry it open, and they found $100,000 in cash. $100,000 inside this safe that had been thrown into a lake. Now, unfortunately, it didn't, in the story, it doesn't say how old the money is, like how long it's been down there. But it's been down there long enough. And even though the bills were wrapped in plastic, apparently the money had sort of deteriorated. So my question is, and it doesn't address this in the story, these people that found this, if they take it to the Federal Reserve, they take it to a bank, and they say, hey, we got this money. And I'm hoping that some of the serial numbers are there, if they'd be able to replace it. That would be kind of cool. I'm sure somebody stole the safe, couldn't get it open, and said, we'll just toss it, not knowing that there was $100,000 in there. Then I saw another story, kind of on the opposite end of finding a safe. That was in New York. This one is in New Orleans. And this happened, I guess, the last part of May. A guy who was magnet fishing pulled up a exercise dumbbell that had a human skull padlocked to it. So somehow there was this weight. I don't know if there was a chain or something attached to the skull, and it was padlocked on to this weight. And that's what he pulled up. The fisherman also found a handgun and a gun barrel. So something shady going on down there at this particular waterway. The 15-pound dumbbell was padlocked around the skull, which was fully decomposed, lacking a jaw or the top row of teeth. Just by chance, there was a police officer driving by around that time, and the fisherman flagged him down. Oh, this was off the Bayou Street John Bridge. Those who've been to New Orleans, maybe you know about this place. Police do not have any further updates on the case. And at this time, the coroner has not yet confirmed if they have a identity of the victim. Well, I'm imagining that they're probably going to have to go to dental records or some sort of DNA to find that. But cops are looking for any tips that people may have. So I'm just curious if we have any magnet fishermen in the Dayton area. I mean, my gosh, we have plenty of waterways. We've got the Great Miami, we got the Stillwater, we got the Little Miami, we got the Hydrobowl Lake over there, Eastwood Lake, right? We've talked about that on the show. Somebody contacted me and said for sure they know that there's a car out there. And then he invited me out onto his boat one night, which was a little concerning. But anyway, so if you are a magnet fisherman here in the Dayton area, I'd love to chat with you and talk about any weird things you've pulled up from the water.
What am I listening to now?
What is this?
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
It's a radio show. It's entertainment.
Fill it up.
T-O.
Double D.
H.
Oh.
Double L.
S-T. I can remember that.
Locally grown, seriously funny.
I'm puzzled by the whole thing.
On WHIO.
WHIM news time is 5:21. Now your Storm Center 7 4.
All right, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. What's going on, Daniel? Hi, Leslie. Hey, Matthew. Thank you. Thank you. You get a gold star. Clinton, what's up? Ashley, Josh, Joel, Caroline, Kitron. Ooh. Kitron, have you ever gone magnet fishing before? Hey, Brenda, how are you? Thanks for watching tonight. Oh, that's a good question, Helena. If anybody in our family was going to go magnet fishing, it would be Terry for sure. Helena is my niece, by the way, if anyone's wondering. Don't pester her. Magnet fishing is when you drop a giant magnet in the water attached to a rope, and you just pull up anything metal that happens to stick to it. Usually you just get junk, but sometimes you might find fortune. Or misfortune, I guess. It depends. someone's misfortune. Guns, knives, swords. Oh, yeah, scooters, bicycles. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Well, the story I just had was a woman or man and woman finding a safe with $100,000 in it while they were magnet fishing. Leslie, are you a man or a woman? Let's spin the wheel and find out. Thank you, Rod. I appreciate it. Yes, you do. Leslie knows where I buy my pants. Not everybody knows that. Mary's fabulous. She's always fabulous.
New details on a police sergeant convicted last week. We'll have the latest at 5:30. Now back to the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst on 1290 and 95.7 WHIO.
At best, you're an underachiever at a local radio station.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. I thought for sure the phones would be flooded with magnet fishermen. I guess I'm wrong. Maybe here in Ohio, we just like our traditional fishing. Worms and hooks. I'd love to go magnet fishing. That'd be a nice, relaxing hobby. And like I said, we have plenty of waterways and apartment complex ponds. I mean, all kinds of places. Parker, you've been magnet fishing?
Yeah, I grew up on a lake and worked on a boat dock. So we
really?
Oh yeah. We attached like a magnet, probably about the size I don't know of a 16-ounce cup or so.
Yeah.
Put a big rope on it, throw it out there, see what you can pull up.
Cast it out.
Yeah.
What's the craziest thing you ever brought up?
We pulled up
any weapons?
No weapons, but we pulled up like deck chairs and stuff like that.
Oh, well, I would imagine that sometimes those are going to fall off a boat, right? And then sink down to the bottom, and people are going to be like, I'm not going down there to get it.
Well, there was a waterfront restaurant there too with a patio, and we pulled up a few chairs from the restaurant from the patio there. So
maybe some drunk fool threw it off.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Yeah. That's cool. Well, if anybody has gone magnet fishing here in the Miami Valley, I'd love to chat with you. We got some mail.
Back off the jaw jacket. It's time for mail call.
Master, I have mail for you.
Oh, I'm a big fan of yours.
The mail is here.
Your hate mailbox is full.
If you'd like to send me an email, it's eveningedgetodd@gmail.com, or you can message me at eveningedgetodd. Hey, Todd, have you seen this yet? And they included a picture, a little jar, if you will, of some sort of ointment. And it's put out by the Tubby Todd Bath Company. It's a colloidal ointment for babies and moms. I've never heard of it. They also make chest rub and nipple balm. Love your show, Tracy. Well, thank you, Tracy. Here's a little love. I don't know. I didn't know what colloidal oatmeal is, so I looked it up, and it's a natural ingredient that's used in many personal care products to soothe and protect dry, itchy, or irritated skin. I'm just saying right now, if the Tubby Todd Bath Company is listening and you need somebody to endorse your nipple balm or your chest rub, I'm your guy.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Clinton, I'm all about helping my fellow man or woman with their dry, itchy nipples. Good Lord. Leslie popped open the bottle of bourbon. Look out. Put on your helmets. The Tubby Todd Nip Balm Company. Hi, I'm Todd from the Evening Edge on WHIO. If you have itchy or irritated nipples, then you need Tubby Todd's Nipple Balm Ointment. Soothing women across the nation. One nipple at a time.
If news breaks, we break in anytime. Now back to America's most powerful talk lineup, WHIO.
Don't give me that politics, Jazz. It's not my racket.
People are tired of hearing nothing but doom and despair on the radio.
Everyone just relax, all right?
The problems of the world are not in my department.
Now, who would like a cookie?
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call me at 457-1290.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. Live stream is up and rolling on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I have to tell you, the Dayton Wild Shoe Sighting Facebook group is exploding. This weekend, we had a couple of random shoe sightings out in the wild. I was one of the contributors. I posted a picture of a solo tennis shoe out on Swigert Road in Beaver Creek. My wife and I were driving by, and she was in the middle of a deep conversation about something very important, and I yelled, "Is that a shoe?" So we had to turn around and passed it 2 more times so we could get a really good photo. And then there was somebody up in, I want to say Tip City, that posted a picture of a lamp that apparently this person, and I got to get more details. I said I'd love to give one of these away on the show. They make, I don't know, decor, furniture. In this case, it was a lamp from random shoes that they find out in the wild. I love that. I think it's genius. It's a great way to recycle random shoes. And if you haven't heard, it's a Facebook group I started a couple of weeks ago, Dayton Wild Shoe Sightings. So from time to time, you see a wild shoe just sort of out there. Randomly along the road, sometimes a parking lot. In fact, last week, somebody posted a pair of shoes. Wasn't just one random shoes. They were twins. But one was, I guess, left-footed and one was right-footed. It doesn't matter. But anyway, they were in the parking lot at the International College of Broadcasting, where I am an alum. And it was right out there in the parking lot. So they posted the picture right there. It's nice. You got to keep tabs on these things. So you can find that on Facebook, Dayton Wild Shoe Sightings. It's a group you'll want to be a part of. We have some animals attacking.
There is a wild side to every animal.
Here's something you like when animals attack magicians.
Animals took revenge.
Animals attack!
Craziest animal attack story.
You're about to find out when animals attack.
Well, I saw this story today on WHIO.com. Every year, the United States Postal Service, they put out their list of the states and the cities with the most dog bites. And it's not a list that you want to be on at all. And guess what? Texas is number 1. California is number 2. Guess who's number 3? That's right. Ohio. That's not a good thing. We don't want that. Holy cow. According to the United States Postal Service, in Ohio, and last year there were 359 dog bite incidents. 359. People, keep your dogs inside. Tie them up. The Postal Service, they've got a hard enough job as it is. I happen to live on a route where they have to carry and lug that big bag of mail around. I don't live in one of those neighborhoods where you got mailboxes at the end of the driveway. That's some work, especially when it's very hot. And the last thing you want to do is be dealing with a crazy dog. 359 dog bite incidents last year. That's up from 311 the year before. Dayton had 23 dog bite incidents last year. Cincinnati leads the charge, I guess, with 38. They don't mention Cleveland. 33 in Columbus. They left out Cleveland. I wonder how many are in Cleveland. How they leave that out of the story? I have to check that. Parker, will you check that? Will you look to see? If you don't mind, United States Postal Service dog bites 2023 and see where Cleveland ranks. And Toledo. Los Angeles had the most dog bites with 65 incidents. So, those the postal workers out there, that's a tough gig. It's a tough gig, and you don't need to be dealing with wild, crazy animals, for sure. Parker, did you find anything?
Cleveland is actually the top city in Ohio.
That's what I was thinking. How could they leave that out of the story?
With 44.
How could they leave that out of the story? Did they not think that we care about Cleveland? I care about Cleveland. It's part of Ohio. Is Toledo on the list?
I'll get back to you on
That's
that.
all right. It's all right. Here's another animal story. I don't know if anybody saw this. I want to give a shout out. I think it was Ryan, Edgehead Ryan, who sent me this earlier. Apparently, around 3 a.m. this morning down in Cincinnati, near the University of Cincinnati, which makes this already suspect. I don't know that. I think the students are probably out of school, obviously, for the summer. So maybe somebody was drinking. Who knows? But the police got a report from someone around 3 a.m. saying that they spotted a tiger, like a real tiger. There were no additional big cat sightings reported to police. Cops went and checked the area, but did not find anything. And a spokesman from the Cincinnati Zoo said both of their tigers are safe and sound at the zoo. Now, see, that's an interesting thing. It's like if you live in a city where there's a zoo and somebody says, "Hey, I think I saw a tiger," I'd have the zoo on speed dial. And I'd be like, "Look, are all of your animals accounted for?" But the story says it's unclear if it was just a false alarm or not. Became illegal for individuals to own, trade, or sell tigers and other dangerous wild animals in Ohio back in 2012, when then Governor John Kasich signed a bill regulating the possession of dangerous wild animals in the state. But they have a list in this particular story. This is from Cincinnati.com. They have a list of animals that you are not allowed to own here in Ohio. And I thought we'd go through some of these. We do know that you can own zebras. Because remember a year or two ago, there was a guy in Ohio who owned, I guess, a herd of zebras on his farm, and one of the zebras bit his arm off. Do you remember that story? Yeah. I didn't know that you could own zebras, but you can. Here are the list of animals you can't own in Ohio, if you're thinking about it. Hyenas, gray wolves, lions, jaguars, leopards, including the clouded leopards, the sun to clouded leopards, and snow leopards. You can't own cheetahs. You can't own lynxes or cougars or caracals or servals. Now, it says here you can't own bears, but I'm sure that there are people in Ohio that own bears. My family used to own a bear long time ago. I've told the story before. My great-grandpa had a bear. His name was Teddy, 100%. I've got pictures of my grandma feeding Teddy. And then Teddy became a little too rambunctious. And then Teddy became a carpet. 100% true. You can't own elephants if you're thinking about it. Rhinoceroses, hippopotamuses. You can't own Cape buffaloes. No African wild dogs. Komodo dragons. I bet somebody in Ohio has a Komodo dragon somewhere hidden in a basement. You can't own gators, crocodiles, or caimans. Now, I don't know what these are. Gharials? Gharial? G-H-A-R-I-A-L-S. Gharials? You can't own non-human primates other than lemurs. Okay. You can't own golden lions, southern and northern night monkeys. They have a real thing against monkeys here. There's about 20 monkeys that you can't own. I'm not going to go through all of them. You've been spared. But there is one that I've never heard of this before. A dusky TT? T-I-T-I is what it's a dusky TT or a masked TT monkey. So what you can own, and I've thought about this, penguins. You can own a penguin. And I guess if you've got, space and you keep your house really, really cold, you could probably own a penguin. So it'll be interesting to see if they get any more of these tiger sightings down in Cincinnati, because remember we've had some sightings down there before, and there were a couple where the animals that were spotted turned out that they were on like cocaine. Remember that? There was a cat that somebody, some sort of wild cat, I don't know if it was a cougar or what it was. Might have been a cheetah. I'm not sure. It's been a while. we talk about so much nonsense on the show. It just sometimes right out of my head. But a couple of those, that big cat was like high on coke or meth or something. 100% true. This was around the time Cocaine Bear came out, that great movie, that iconic movie. So maybe we'll have more sightings down there. Who knows? 937-457-1290. What else do we? Think about this. Your favorite game show of all time. This Friday is the last new episode of Pat Sajak. He's done after Friday. We got a summer full of repeats, right? But then in September, Ryan Seacrest is going to be become the new host of Wheel of Fortune. So we've got a list from Ranker of the top 50 game shows of all time. So I thought we'd talk about that. People love game shows.
What am I listening to now?
What is this?
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
It's a radio show. It's entertainment.
Fill it up, punk.
T-O.
Double D.
H. Oh.
Double L.
S-T. I can remember that.
Locally grown, seriously funny.
I'm puzzled by the whole thing.
On WHIO.
Leslie, I believe you can. I think you can. It's not on the list. I don't know that koalas count as dangerous animals. Maybe so. I don't know. I've never seen a story about koala attacks. Hey, Doug, welcome back. Good to see you. D. No koalas for you, Leslie. Plus, you'd probably let them drink bourbon. Now, there's a great name for a bar, the Drunken Koala. Welcome to the Drunken Koala. Dee. You need to put it in a little baby bottle. Feed your koalas some bourbon. That'd be a great brand name, Kentucky Koala Bourbon. Might have been that fire, Clinton. You see that there was a fire at an Amazon distribution place over the weekend here in Dayton or somewhere.
A woman is charged in a deadly crash. Well, the latest at 6. Now back to the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst on 1290 at 95.7 WHIO.
From a psychological standpoint, the radio station represents a link to normalcy.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7, coming up after the news. We're talking about game shows. Your favorite game show of all time, your favorite game show host of all time. This Friday is Pat Sajak's last new episode, and then he's done. He's retired. Vanna's returning, at least for another year or so. And in September, Ryan Seacrest will take over the helm of the big wheel. And then we'll get to hear for 6 months how much people hate him. Because that always happens. You get a new host on a show that people are in love with, and then, oh, this guy sucks, is awful. This morning on the Miami Valley's Morning News with Larry Hanskin, I don't know if anybody else heard this story about a guy in England who was arrested for breaking into I guess like a convenience store, grocery store a couple of times. 40-year-old guy was arrested last week after cops recognized him as a suspect. They say his theft started in mid-April. He was breaking into a shop and just stealing stuff, I guess, off the shelves. Then in May, he broke into another store and stole some meat. And then after he stole the meat, he left and then came back a couple of hours later and stole more meat. But the big caper, apparently, was a week later when he came back and he helped himself to 17 tubes of Pringles. 17 tubes. Now, I guess it's possible he went in there with a backpack, an empty backpack, and or maybe a pillowcase or whatever. But where do you hide 17 tubes of Pringles? How do you carry 17 tubes of Pringles? And I'd be curious to know if he took a variety of flavors or if there was one particular flavor that he prefers. If it were me, and I was able to somehow manage to steal 17 tubes of Pringles without any consequences, it would have to be the salt and vinegar for sure. I love those. Oh, my gosh. And this particular guy, a cop say that when they questioned him, he told them, quote, "Once you pop, you can't stop." That's what he told him. A nod to the snack's famous advertising slogan. So even with criminals, advertising works.
What am I listening to now?
What is this?
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
It's a radio show. It's entertainment.
Fill it up.
T-O.
Double D.
H. Oh.
Double L.
S-T. I can remember that.
Locally grown, seriously funny.
I'm puzzled by the whole thing.
On WHIO.
It's a lot of extra pockets. A lot of extra pockets.
And we're back.
My logo portrait? You just mean my show logo? Is that what you mean? His name is Kevin Johnson. He's a brilliant graphic designer that worked here at Cox Media Group. But he's moved on. He's made all my posters. Very sad that he left. You know, when you hear a game show theme, I don't know about you, but it puts a smile on my face. I really enjoy game shows. I don't get to watch them as much as I used to. And honestly, a lot of them today, just not what they used to be. I'm not like a big reality fan like the Survivor and Big Brother. They consider those game shows. Those aren't the game shows that I fell in love with. This Friday, oh, by the way, this is the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. The live stream is up on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. This Friday is Pat Sajak's last new show. And, you know, they record, they tape these shows way in advance. And I want to say that he may have taped Friday's show back in April, I think. They worked that far ahead. And his last show, last new show is going to be Friday. He's retiring after, 30 some years. It's crazy. Probably more than that. He's done. And then in September, Ryan Seacrest. You remember him. He was a radio DJ for a long time. Then he was co-host of that Kelly Ripa morning show. I think he took, I don't remember who he took over for. I don't think he took over for Regis. I feel like there was somebody between Regis and Ryan Seacrest. And now it's Kelly's houseboy, right? Isn't it? Is it? No, that's her husband. That's her husband. But he's going to take over Ryan Seacrest in September. And from what I understand, Vanna White, who's now 66, has extended her contract through the 25-26 season. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Whenever there's a new host of a show, people just lose their minds. They just can't deal with it. And I understand it because, a game show is comfort food, 100%. The producers of the most successful game shows, like Merv Griffin, he created Wheel of Fortune. He created Jeopardy. They find that perfect formula. And it's just comforting to people. And that's why at the end of a long day, folks tune on Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy or whatever it is. The Price is Right during the day. I mean, that was standard. If I was homesick, I was watching Bob Barker and The Price is Right. I was watching Joker's Wild. I was watching Hollywood Squares. Or the, what was it? The $100,000 pyramid with Dick Clark. It's just comfort food for the soul. And remember when, Alex Trebek sadly died and they replaced him with, they had like tryouts. Remember, this was like all we talked about last summer. I remember it was that Mayim Bialik and Ken Jennings. And I want to say there was somebody else and the name's escaping me. But people to this day complain about Ken Jennings. And I don't get it. I like Ken Jennings. He's not a traditional broadcaster, if you will, but he'll work into it. It takes a long time. So I thought this might be a fun conversation. Like, what are your favorite game shows of all time? I came across the list from Ranker, and I talk about Ranker from time to time. It's just a website where they throw out a topic and people vote on whatever they think is hot, whatever they think is not. And all the votes are somehow tabulated, and they come up with these lists. And this is the Ranker list of the top 50 best TV game shows of all time. We'll just start with number 10. Number 10, Let's Make a Deal. Monty Hall. That was another one of those standard game shows that I would watch when I was home. Monty Hall. I loved him. I loved that show. And if I recall, sometimes, maybe not as much as Hollywood Squares, but sometimes Let's Make a Deal could be a little racy for the time, right? Especially if you had one of the contestants wearing something revealing. And that was always a big thrill as a kid, for sure. Number 9, the Pyramid. Number 8, Password. Number 7, Hollywood Squares. That was, I would put that in my my top 5 for sure. The shows that I loved the most were really, it was a game show, but it really sort of highlighted the personalities and the comedy. Hollywood Squares was a hoot, especially with Paul Lynde in the middle square, who, by the way, I believe was from Ohio. But that was just great fun. They put him in the middle square and they'd set him up with all these jokes. It was just great. It was great fun. Match Game. That was another one that could get a little racy at times. If I'm thinking of the right game, yeah, I think that what I'm talking about. Match Game. Betty White was on that a lot. She was on a lot of those shows. Number 5, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? That was pretty good. It was pretty good. I think it had its time. When Regis was doing it, it was great. And then it went into syndication, and it was Meredith something or other. I can't think of her last name, but she became the host. It's probably still in syndication. I don't know. Number 4, Wheel of Fortune. Number 3, Family Feud. Now, Family Feud was a standard in our house. And I don't remember if it was on every night or if it was on the weekends. I can't recall. I want to say it was probably on every night. But the thing that I remember most about Family Feud was the original with Richard Dawson. Remember Richard Dawson? He'd come out. He had a tuxedo on. A lot of the time, I think he had a tuxedo on. I don't know. It was a long time ago. I was a kid sitting at the dinner table, stuffing my mouth full of mashed potatoes and gravy. I'm sure that he probably wore a tuxedo at some point. But the thing I always remembered about Richard Dawson is that he liked to kiss people a lot. Whenever there was a pretty girl on one of the families on Family Feud, he'd always like lean over the counter there and at first you're kind of like, oh, that's kind of different. But as the show went on, it got a little creepier and creepier. Number 2 on the list, The Price is Right, the classic. I will tell you, and Channel 7 is our sister station here, and we carry The Price is Right. And I love Drew Carey. But I'll tell you what, since the pandemic, the show in my view, has just changed dramatically. And I don't think it's as good, but I don't know if it's because I love nostalgia. And when he took over for Bob Barker, it was almost the same show. Almost the same sort of deal, the same audience, the same come on down, that kind of thing. And it looked like a huge audience from, in your living room. It looks like it was a huge audience. I don't know if it's really that big of an audience or if it just looks that way. But during the pandemic, if you watch that show, you remember when they did away with a huge live studio audience. Then they had these little pods of people, 2 or 3 people sitting next to each other. That's different. That's different. And they do now include men, for Barker's Beauties. You got the hot ladies and you got the hot guys. So now it's more of an equal thing. But I just don't think it's as good as it used to be. Jeopardy, great. It's a great game. I watch Jeopardy sometimes if I'm not doing the show, but usually I'm here and I can't watch these game shows. But those game shows, they're just comfort food and people love them. They just love them. So if you've got one that you really love, and you go back and watch the reruns, that's an interesting thing too. We have the Game Show Network, and it's interesting to watch some of these old shows, these reruns. Like I mentioned, Hollywood Squares. I love that. The Newlywed Game, that was always a little racy, and I remember asking Mom, well, what does that mean? That kind of thing. But I'll tell you the one that I just absolutely loved. And it makes sense because of the show that I do. 100% The Gong Show. Parker's looking at me like, what? Do you remember The Gong Show? Do you even know what The Gong Show is? No. It was a talent show. It was a bad talent show. And you had contestants come out with some talent, sort of almost like Letterman's Stupid Human Tricks. But they'd come out, the contestants would come out, and you'd have like celebrity judges. But there'd be a giant gong on the stage. And if the performance or the act was really, really, really bad, somebody'd run up and hit that gong. But it was just great fun. So if you got a game show you want to chat about, hit me up, 937-457-1290.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Yes, Caroline, they do. They do. Oh, Sale of the Century. That was a good one. Who was the host of that one, Tracy? I don't remember. Sale of the Century. I can't remember. Yeah. No whammies. No whammies. Oh, I like whose line is it? I've not seen it with the woman host. I mean, I've seen clips of it, but I've not really watched it. Yeah, I've talked about Bowling for Dollars before. I want so bad to bring Bowling for Dollars back and be the host. That would be huge. Yeah, that would be fun. I would love to do it. Thought about trying to do it as a YouTube thing. Like a YouTube series. Get some business to sponsor it. My plate is so full right now, though. Good Lord.
Still cleaning up from a train derailment in Logan County. We'll have the latest at 6:30. Now back to the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst on 1290 and 95.7 WHIO.
And now for our devoted listeners, back to the show.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. I got a question. Don't only women generally name their cars? My wife got a new car, and ever since I've known her, every car that she's had, it's been the Marymobile. That's what she called it. And now her sister's like, oh, you need to name your car. And I thought, well, what's wrong with Marymobile? It's every other car has been Marymobile. But apparently she's considering it the name Veronica, which I don't get. I don't understand. Where is that from? And then I wasn't really going to mention that. That was one of those passing conversations. But then another friend of mine that I went to high school with, she got a new car. And she says, I'm introducing you to my car, Sid. I told my wife, I said, that has got to be just a female thing, a woman thing. I don't think guys out there name their cars. It's just a car. But for some reason, some women, not all, I'm not making a huge generalization here, but some women just love to name their car. I don't get it. I don't know why. I'd love to talk to a guy who's named his car. Like, what's that about? Let's see. Jason in Springfield. Hey, Jason.
Hey, how you doing, buddy? I was telling your screener I really enjoy the show. Long time, first time.
Well, thank you. Before we get to your comment, Jason, you haven't named your car, have you?
No.
Yeah, see, that's a thing that women do, I think.
I can understand a guy naming a bike, but not a car.
Well, you know what is? That's true. You know what's funny though is I won't go into it. I was going to say something that I thought might take us on. Go on around. Okay, I'm going to say it. I told my wife. I said, you know what? Men don't name their cars, but some men name other things and give those things a name. Yeah. Very personal thing, if you know what I mean. And I think that's odd. They won't name their car, but they'll name that. Just odd. Anyway, go ahead, Jason.
Well, anyways, like I said, I enjoy the show.
Thank
and
you.
I am very, very surprised that nobody has yet mentioned the very original Press Your Luck with Peter Tamarkin.
Oh, wow. Press Your Luck. I remember that. I don't remember the host that you mentioned specifically, but
he was the very first one that when they first started the show, he was the very original host of the show.
Man, when did that start?
It was like mid-'80s, early mid-'80s.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember that. That's a good one. Let's see. What else is on the list here? Number 20, Deal or No Deal. Number 19, I know a lot of people who love this show, Supermarket Sweep. Have you seen that? I remember seeing this. It's basically contestants in a fake shopping grocery store with carts trying to, I guess, race around, trying to pick up different products, and just kind of odd. All about consumerism, I guess.
That does ring a bell, but like I said, I don't think I've ever seen it.
I got you. All right, Jason, I appreciate your call. 937-457-1290. Yeah. So if you're a guy and you've named your car, call me.
What am I listening to now? What is this?
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
It's a radio show. It's entertainment.
Fill it up.
Double D.
Double L. S-T. I can remember that.
Locally grown, seriously funny
I'm puzzled by the whole thing.
on WHIO.
Yeah, maybe a little bit weird. Whatever. Lingo. I kind of remember that. Yep. Somebody just mentioned, I think a caller called in and said, press your luck.
in, anytime. Now back to America's most powerful talk lineup, WHIO.
Be of good cheer and call me.
Call me now. Call me.
He's laughing at us right on the radio.
Least we can do is get him on the radio and talk to him.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call me at 457-1290.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. Live stream is up on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can watch. It's like radio on TV, I guess. 937-457-1290. Talking about a number of things tonight. One, your favorite game show of all time. TV game show. This Friday is Pat Sajak's last new show. Then we get a summer of reruns. And then it's Ryan Seacrest. He takes over in September. So I just thought that'd be a fun conversation. Also, last hour, we talked about magnet fishing. 2 stories about magnet fishing. A couple in New York, they brought up a safe containing $100,000. That's pretty cool. On the other end, down in New Orleans, a guy pulled up a human skull padlocked to an exercise dumbbell. All while magnet fishing. You get a giant, strong magnet, you tie it to a rope, you throw it in some water, you pull up whatever you might find. And I was hoping we talked to somebody who's actually done this or does this. Parker, my producer tonight, he's done it when he was growing up on a lake. But I'm sure there's got it. We have so many waterways and so many ponds and so many, lakes and all that. There's got to be magnet fishermen out there listening. And we're also talking about naming cars. My wife got a new car. She's thinking of naming it Veronica. I don't know why. She's always driven the Marymobile. It kind of rolls off your tongue. But I don't name my car. I don't think most guys name their cars. Feel like that's a female thing. I got another friend who just got a new car. Posted on our Facebook. She's named her car Sid. I don't know if it's Sid like a dude named Sid, like Sid and Nancy, or Sydney. I'm not sure. Charlie and Vandalia. Hey, Charlie.
Hey.
Hey.
I named my car.
You named your car. What you named your car? Okay, so what? First of all, what kind of car? What's the first car? Give me one car.
I got an 04 Ram 1500 pickup.
Okay, what do you name that one?
Rusty, because she started getting some rust around the window.
So, but all right, so that might be what you refer to the car as. But let me ask you. I mean, if you tell a loved one or whatever, like, hey, I'm going to run down to the market. I'm going to jump in Rusty. Do you call it? Do you?
Yeah.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then last year, because Rusty's got 233,000 miles on her.
Right.
And my kids live in Kentucky.
Okay.
So they started complaining, telling me I needed something newer so they didn't worry about me driving down there. So last year I bought a 2020 Jeep Cherokee, and it's white, the first white vehicle I've ever owned. So I call it the Ghost.
The Ghost. Interesting. I think you might be the first guy that I've ever talked to that's named their cars.
Nah, I've got other relatives that.
Really?
Yeah, I've got a cousin. His dad bought it was a 77 Chevy stick bed truck.
Okay.
Back in 77. And it's blue, and it's always been called Old Blue.
Old Blue. All right. I suppose but like I said, I've never talked to anybody else, any guy who's named his car, but that's fine. As my grandma used to say, it takes all kinds, Charlie.
That's right.
I appreciate you calling, buddy. Have a good one. 937-457-1290. Let's talk to Marie and Huber. Hey, Marie.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. So do you name your car?
Well, we have a Ford 2020 F-150, and we've named it Trouble.
Trouble? Why? Do you have a lot of trouble with it?
For obvious reasons, yes.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, I just got rid of a Kia. The engine blew, and for a few weeks, the name was POS. So,
well, I was trying to keep it neutral.
No, I got you. All right. Well, I appreciate that, Marie. Thank you. Have a good one. That line's open, 937-457-1290. I really do, though, feel like it's mostly a female thing. I mean, I'm sure there's guys out there that do that. That's fine. And the caller, Charlie, he was referring to his truck, Rusty, but he was referring to her. We're referring to the car as a female, I thought. I thought he said she has 200 and some thousand miles, which is interesting that it would be a female and they named it Rusty, right? Parker, you have a comment?
I'm just with you on this. I don't understand it at all.
Yeah.
It's a car.
I wonder if there are people out there that have named their car and then get a decal with the name and put it on their car.
Yes, I have seen that before. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's a little nutty.
Hey, question for you. We had a caller call in and trying to ask, or there was a debate going on about how old you are.
How old I am?
Yes.
Why is that?
I don't know. Carol in Heber Heights and her husband or significant other were trying to figure out how old you were, Todd.
So I'd be curious to know if the guy thought I was older or if the woman thought I was older. You don't have any of those details?
They were being passed through. I was able to pick out bits and pieces.
Okay. So any guesses?
They said 54.
Well, I'm 54.
Yeah. And I said that was correct. Yes.
Well, somebody nailed it. Congratulations. That's pretty good. Kind of fits the theme of one of the topics tonight, game shows, right? It could be like a game show. How old is your host? Something like that. All right. Well, that answers the question. I'm 54. Did they ask you about your age?
No, they didn't. No.
You're 21.
I am not.
22.
22.
Yeah, that's right. You just turned 22 though, right?
In January.
Well, that was like within the year, right?
5 months ago.
5 months ago. Oh, that's right. I think did they get you a cake or so? Oh no, did we go someplace for your birthday?
No.
We didn't do that?
We didn't do that. No.
Oh, they just do that for some people, I guess.
Yeah, just for special people. Wow. I'm not on that list, apparently.
Well, I'm not either. Don't worry about it. All right. 937-457-1290. I don't know if you saw this today in the news and if you buy concert tickets. Holy cow. Ticketmaster says more than 500 million customers have had their information stolen in a massive data breach. The ticket seller's parent company confirmed in a federal filing on Friday with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Live Nation Entertainment said in the filing on Friday that it had identified unauthorized activity within a third-party cloud-based environment. Gobbledygook, gobbledygook, gobbledygook. The data taken was identifying information, including credit card numbers, emails, addresses, phone numbers, and ticket purchases. So not only can they sell those credit card numbers and hijack your email and call you with robocalls, they'll also know if you are a secret Taylor Swift fan. They say passwords do not appear to have been compromised, but cybersecurity experts suggest changing them. Yeah, change them. Here's the best part, though. They say that the activity was discovered on May 20th. It's unclear when the hack happened. They say that they're working to mitigate risk to their users. But in their statement, the company said it doesn't think that the hack, quote, had a material impact on their overall business operations or their financial condition or results of operations. So as long as they're okay, everything's fine, right? The hack hasn't really affected us in any way. Hasn't hurt our bottom line or our operations or anything like that. The company's fine. The 500 million customers, you're on your own. Wow. Let's see. Larry in West Liberty. Hey, Larry.
Yeah, I name my cars.
You do? How many cars do you have?
Well, when my stepson started driving, I found out the 82 to 92 Camaros were cheap. So we ended up with 5 or 6 of them.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, and you named all of them?
Well, we had to name them because we had 3 V28s, we had 2 red ones, we had 2 black ones. So we have to have Big Red, Little Red, Big Z, Little Z. And then the prettiest one was the dog of the bunch, which my stepdaughter drove, and it was the Teal Turd.
The Teal Turd. Well, that's a good name. That's a very creative name. I'm sure, there's probably, I was just thinking, I appreciate your call there. I was probably thinking there's some guy out there who's a big Star Wars fan who drives a black vehicle and he named it Vader. For sure. Real quickly, Jim in St. Mary's. Hey, Jim.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I had a 1953 Ford, 3 on the column, called Leaping Lena.
Leaping Lena.
The reason for this
was
nylon tires. A lot of people never been in the wintertime with nylon tires because you get out there and they're sort of flat until they warm up.
Right, so it kind of leans to one direction, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it moved, and that's what how we named it.
That sounds like that old joke. What do you call a woman with one leg shorter than the other?
I haven't heard that one.
Eileen.
Okay. Very good.
Thank you, Jim. How could he have not heard that joke? I mean, that was the joke, right? His tires lean because they don't. Isn't that the joke? How could it be more obvious?
What am I listening to now? What is this?
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
It's a radio show. It's entertainment.
Fill it up.
T. Double D.
H. Double L. S. T. I can remember that.
Locally grown, seriously funny.
I'm puzzled by the whole thing.
On WHIO.
I don't know how he didn't get that joke. I mean, I'm not saying it's a funny joke. I'm just making the point that I thought for sure that's where he was going. What he was talking about tires being not inflated all the way. Executor. That's a good one, Gene. That's a good one. Man, I am missing everything tonight. This is crazy. Carla the car. Was the car name Carla, I wonder, Captain Scurvy? I don't remember.
It'll be even warmer on Tuesday. We'll have the latest at 7 o'clock. Now back to the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst on 1290 and 95.7 WHIO.
You ain't going to want to miss this.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Cheese-It, 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 Cheese-It. Oh my God.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. So a year ago yesterday, we unveiled a giant Cheez-It statue at Carillon Historical Park. If you've listened to the show with any regularity or length of time, you would know that that was a huge goal of mine, was to have a statue built. And we did it. And last year, yesterday, 1 year, we unveiled it at Carillon. And the video case you missed it, maybe you just found the show not long ago. It is on my Facebook page, and you can see the grand unveiling of a huge Cheez-It statue commemorating Dayton as the birthplace of the world's greatest cracker. So check it out. I'll see you tomorrow, just after 5.
Adios, cowboy.
I'm saying it's over.
I'm afraid that's all there is, my friend.
A mediocre evening.
Could have been worse.
Nothing. Show's over. Well, that was exhausting.
No more fun, no refunds.
Good night, Todd.
All right, everybody, have a great night.
Dayton turns to
See you tomorrow, just after 5.
Breaking news. WHIO.